Welcome to our webinar today. Today we're talking about how the Datgel Monitoring Tool can help you bring instrumentation data into gINT. So you can work with it beside your other subsurface data, lab results, so on. So very briefly about me, I'm Phil Wade. I'm the Managing Director and founder of Datgel. I'm a geotechnical engineer, and I'm the product manager and one of the main developers of Datgel software. Today we will spend about 30 minutes talking about the monitoring tool. First of all, I will introduce Datgel and the gINT solution to get through the details of the monitoring tool and the PowerPoint. Then we'll do a demo, talk about how you can, what's your next steps to consider Datgel software. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them at the end. You'll notice there's a question and answer interface in Zoom. So that's the place for you to type in your questions. And I will answer them all at the end. So the Datgel and gINT solution is a combination of software from Bentley Systems and Datgel. It allows you to manage, process, and report all types of geotechnical data. And that's from really just one or maybe two interfaces, depending how you look at it. So it provides you an efficient interface, and so you don't have to type the same things multiple times. Works with a database behind it. And it has very high quality report presentation. So gINT is developed by Bentley Systems. It brings the core data management and CAD functionality. It's very flexible and customizable software. It connects with other products in the Bentley Systems range of software, particularly Open Roads, Open Rail, some of the major products like that. It can work with either an Access or an SQL Server backend. And it helps you, basically the goal of gINT is to help you centrally manage and report all types of, centrally manage your data in one database. And it's a fairly popular product around the world. In excess of 8,000 licenses are out there. Datgel, we are a third-party developer of gINT technology. We can also develop other types of software. We're focused on the geotechnical sort of geoengineering space. That's our specialty, and so we're your partner to get the most out of gINT in this sort of context. Provide you with software products. We'll support your use of the products, and we can sell most people gINT, but not everyone. Our software products, developed by Datgel, are add-ins. There's over 800 licenses out there, used by 230 organizations in 33 countries, soon to be hopefully more countries soon. We have a team of people, a small team, based in 3 countries. And in addition to our add-ins, we can provide you with customization services and training services. So this is a bit of a layout of the solution. gINT is the core. The DGD tool, which will be a topic of a future webinar, is the sort of encompasses that. And the monitoring tool is one of our geotechnical type tools. So you don't need to have the DGD tool to use the monitoring tool, but they do share some of the same tables. They seamlessly work together. It's possible, although I haven't fully tested it, to use the gINT collector in the field to collect your monitoring data. That's an Android app that's been released by Bentley, and to sync that back into your gINT database to then process the data. So that's an interesting new development from Bentley in the last 12 months. So to the monitoring tool in detail. So the key thing about the monitoring tool is it would replace your use of Excel for managing monitoring data. It's not a web-based system, right? I appreciate that's what some people are looking for. And at this point, this is not that. This is an alternative for processing data after the fact that you would otherwise do in Excel or maybe another database application. But the benefits are that you have everything for your project in one database. You have the borehole logs, you have the lab results, and now you have the monitoring data. Now, my experience was trying to manage vibrating wire piezometer data in an Excel spreadsheet. It quite quickly, after a few months, got way out of hand. It just, at that point, maybe that was a while ago, Excel has improved, but at that point, definitely, it was not a very good solution. I guess that's the big thing to think about, is Excel is not a proper database. Together with the output tool, which was a topic of a previous webinar, the monitoring tool reports can be used as part of an automated periodic reporting system. You could set ranges of dates that you want to print and so on, configure a whole suite of reports you want to PDF probably off every month or so, or every week, or whatever you need to do. So it lends itself to that, and I've had some very good outcomes with some customers who have been using both products. The reports are customizable because they're gINT reports. Yes, we provide you with a whole suite of example reports, but you can edit them. You can reuse those edited reports or standard reports on future projects without having to edit 100 spreadsheets, right? It's the classic benefit of gINT in general, even for borehole logs, is if you're using 100 spreadsheets, if you want to change the presentation of your data, you have to go and edit 100 spreadsheets, and that takes an enormous amount of time. Where with gINT, the concept of gINT, right? You just have to edit the report once. And you can present geology data beside relevant types of instruments. Say inclinometers, you could show the defect data or the RQD bar chart. Now you'd have to develop that report, or copy paste things into one report, but we have provided you with examples of the two separate things in two different reports, so you can create what you want yourselves. So the tool deals with these instruments. Vibrating wire and standpipe piezometers, and recently we have added a whole range of additional piezometer formulas. That's one of the new features in the last couple of years. Inclinometers, settlement markers, and survey prisms, which are pretty much the same thing, similar thing. Rod settlement gauges and magnetic extensometers. So the sort of spider thing you put down the borehole, and then you go back and dip it using a magnetic sensor. So for all of these instruments, we have tables in the database to store the data, calculations to calculate the relevant things, and reports to present the installation and the readings. And those readings reports are both graphs, a whole range of different graphs, and table reports as well. So there's 81 currently, 81 reports. They are in both A4, A3, and letter 11 by 17 page sizes, which are used in North America. Calculate the result, and it allows you to select the base readings for a given instrument, and then it will automatically calculates as well then the change from the base reading and the change from the previous reading. Now that, depending on the type of instrument, it depends on what exactly that value is. Is it elevation? Is it displacement? Is it pore pressure? So you get standard presentations across all of your reports. You could edit the base reports, the templates behind it, so without having to get like all of the reports. It's like there's a block which you can edit, and it allows you to work with different units. So another one of the newer things in this tool is you can select. We've configured two sets of units: US customary or English units and the metric SI option. But you can create other variations upon that if you want to use different units. And the tool, if you do it correctly, add all the conversions in, it will deal with that automatically. Now, another newer thing in this tool is we've added the import tool in here, which is the same tool that's been in the Datgel CPT tool for, well, forever. So you can, so this example is over here, you can import masses of files, as long as they're in the right format that GINT can handle. On bulk, you can import those in. We've added the unit conversion tool, right, which is, again, existed in the CPT tool for many years. And the export tool, which allows you to mass export data. I'll skip over some of these, which are not so interesting. And the SQL tool, this one here, which is something I use quite a lot when I'm processing data. It allows me to do mass updates using SQL language. So I think that's very powerful when you have a lot of data, like monitoring data. You don't want to be trying to edit 100 instruments in the GINT interface for every type of task. It is definitely convenient to use. So let's jump to GINT. Let's drag it over. Go to input. All right, so this basically shares some of the same tables as the Datgel DGD tool, but like I said, you don't necessarily need the DGD tool to use this. You can just merge the relevant monitoring tables into your current library and project and reports. And there would need, if you're not using the DGD tool, you'd need to do some replacing of field references, but it's definitely, that's quite okay. It's not that hard. All right, so we have obviously the project table, the point table where we list all the instruments, nothing too special here, except this surface completion column is used by the monitoring tool specific to that. We have some other ones about fitting to page, which you'll see is implemented on all those points there. That's pretty still standard sort of stuff. All right, we got things like time remarks, which I think can be useful. So you can present this on some reports. We'll present this data. All right, just standard stuff there about borehole logs. Okay, then we get into the mon groups. These are called table groups. These are the specific ones. Okay, so let's work our way through a piezometer example, like the simplest sort of thing here. So this table is shared by most instruments. Anything that's like in a borehole, you can define the material backfill. Then we have some options about scales primarily, and the unit system is stored here at the project level and the point level. And I'll skip over those because they're not really used. So the piezometer is, okay, the piezometer table, right? So you got one, in this example, we have one pipe in the hole. Just a simple standpipe style piezometer. So the brown fields yellow fields are the ones you must enter. Brown fields, they're used by the calculation, and green fields are calculated. So if I delete this and all going well, right, it should recalculate. There it is. Over on the right, we have the base reading definition, and for the vibrating wire piezometers, there are the formulas over here, or the parameters for the formula. And if it was a vibrating wire piezometer, you would be picking which formula you want to utilize. Okay, then obviously down the bottom we have the readings and the calculations. Now, how would you get the data in? Well, you could type it, copy paste it, or you can import it in a GINT compatible Excel file or CSV file into GINT. Now the screens are the ranges of slotting on the pipe. So this is one, just has one piezometer. You can have multiple ranges of slotting. So this is a bit different approach to the normal GINT approach, where it's very much create a graphic. If you want to create an image, you're creating basically a bunch of graphics. Where in this approach, we define the backfill on one table in a very logical database way. And we have now defining the slotting in a database way. We're defining the ranges and so on, and the sand types, and we could have casing around the hole as well. And we've got these other lookup tables we won't go to. All right, so let's stick with this example first. We'll go to output, and we'll just preview a couple of reports so you get the gist of what's going on. So got the installation report first. To this one, there obviously are other examples. Preview that. All right, so I've set it so it'll fit it to the one page. That's an option on the point table. I think for instrumentation, that's a convenient situation. It's not a full-on borehole log. All right, now let's do a graph of the piezometer water levels. So we have a number of options. I'll do this one today. We could show many instruments on the same page. We could use this, I think it will use the standard date range that I've set on the project options table. So that raises a good point. Like, it's quite common on a project where you want to always present the same graph dates on the page, or at least the same date start date of the project, 0 date, so that when you compare things, you're not confused by what you're seeing. And every graph reads that same date range if you've set it, right? That's why we have what we see here. That's why it starts here in May 2000 and whatever year, not quite sure what year it is, and ends over here. It's possible to show the years. And you can show different types of scales. Other examples have, the normal sort of set of dates, day, month, year on the screen. And we'll do a graphical table report so you can present the readings in a table. There we are. Okay, I'll zoom in a little bit. All right, now we'll just have a sort of a less detailed look at some of the other instruments. So we have, say, a total station. I think it's, yep. So XYZ data, so there's graphs representing that. This also, the settlement market share is the same table, because basically it's just a simpler version of it. Rod settlement gauge, it's where you bury a plate in the ground and increase the height of the gauge over time as you fill an area. So that's here. Magnetic extensometer, a bit more complicated. So we have the instruments, the magnets definition, and the sets of readings. And it calculates the data. Now, with magnetic extensometers, there are 2 ways of doing the calculation. You can assume say the bottom magnet is in rock and not moving. Or you can use the top of the access tube, which then, if you use that approach, you would then be assuming the bottom magnet's moving. Then you need to be surveying the top of the access tube at the same sort of time as the measurements you take in the magnetic extensometer. So it reads the data in the displacement table to get that elevation if you take this approach. And inclinometer, again, complicated, but sort of similar layout of structure. So we have the readings, we've got all these various scales and alert levels you can enter here. And the actual surveys, so remember the brown fields, the data you provide, and the green fields are calculated. probe is listed here. Now we can also store weather station data. So say precipitation, I guess, is the primary one. We also have, so this example is, and the tidal gauge is also can be stored. And these can be, you can choose to present these behind some graph reports. It's an option as a sandwich report. I think on the PowerPoint, one of the, yeah, here, right, that's what this is. All right, let's jump to output, and I'll just preview, say, the Inclinometer log or some one of those. There we are. So zoom in a little. So we've got the alert levels. That's what these things are. They're defined at the bottom of the page. The surveys. Some of them we've chosen not to display. There's a way to disable them. And I've chosen to fit it all on one page. And I think it's probably based on the hole depth rather than the readings. So the hole depth maybe it should be changed. And the alert levels here. Now on our website, you can click on these report links on the right to see every report that the monitoring tool can create. We have, English units and the metric one. Of course, you can see more information of all the different instruments on the website, and we have the docs as well, which describes how to use the product in detail. And after you log in to the website, register and log in, you can then download the trial from the trial page. Yeah, so I actually put a new trial up today. We've been, doing some testing and fixed a few little things in the last couple of days. So yeah, definitely if you've downloaded one in the last, well, few days, you probably should get the new one. Give it a crack. Okay, let's go back to PowerPoint. All right, so I just described really these 2 points here. So if you don't have a gINT license, you will need gINT to run this. It's an add-in to gINT, and I can send you the trial installer for gINT, which runs for 7 days without any real activation. If you have any tech support questions, you can contact us at this email, or you can email me directly. That's on the next page. We have some future webinars planned. I've been ordering them a bit if you've looked at previous webinars. So the next one next week will be the fence and map tool. And you can look at our webpage under news to see our future webinars if you missed them. We will email everyone a link to the YouTube channel when we post this video of this webinar up there. That'll take about 3 to 5 days, working days. And here's my contact details if you need to contact me with any questions or you're looking to purchase the software. All right, now it's time for questions. So if you jump in, we have one question to get started here. Is it applicable for real-time monitoring readings? Well, it's possible, but we haven't done anything to help you down that path. So if you can dump the data into the database somehow, if you're using SQL Server, that's not so difficult. If you're using Access, it would take a little bit more work. But we haven't developed anything to do that yet, but we're very happy to look into that and work with you to create that functionality. All right, so been a few questions crop up as we've gone. So it was, it's from Etienne. Can you have a set of pre-formatted graphs so that you can easily look at them after any survey and incorporate them directly in a report? Well, yes, yes, you can. That's the idea. And so we've designed those 81 reports. You can reuse those over and over again with your logo on it. You can customize those to suit your needs, because that's the way GINT works. You can edit the reports, reuse them. Do we have other languages? Well, the short answer is no, we don't, but it's not that hard to adjust the reports to another language for yourself. You'll see that that's the way the GINT designer works. It's pretty easy to do so. You could definitely make a Spanish version, because I have a guy from Spain who works for the company. Can the system take information from data loggers, from DENT? I guess you'd mean from data loggers. Yes, but at the moment you would need to manipulate them into a format GINT can import. So a data logger spits out well, there's various data loggers spitting out various formats. So you would currently have to pre-format that. We do have a bit of a plan around how to deal with importing data logger files, but we need to work with some customers who want to work with us to tell us the requirements to, for us to develop the right thing, right? We need a beta tester, I guess, for that issue. What's the cost of the licenses and certification program availability? I'm not quite sure what you mean by certification program availability, but the pricing, I can certainly show you that. So look, we have different pricing for different countries, right? So I'll show you the US dollar pricing in this example. Here it is. So remember, you've got to have GINT as well, right, first. So that's much more expensive than this monitoring tool. So you have different modules that you can choose from, or you can buy all the modules. So let's say the entry price is 1,650. So it's this, or entry price in the sense of having all the instruments that we have. So this plus this is your minimum price to get all of the instruments. It's probably plus a few little extras, but that's the concept. All right, so we had a question over here. Could you show how the interface looks for surveyor readings and benchmarks? Yes, well, that is what's in this displacement table. So that's what I think you're asking about. All right, then we had another question from Wendy. Does the tool handle gas monitoring data? Well, so each bit is part of your question individually. Gas monitoring data, no, I haven't really attempted to do that. We do have these AGS format tables up here, just so we've got them. But they're just places to enter data. Each instrument, we've actually got a calculation. Yes, we have developed correspondence files to export that data into AGS4 format. Not the pipe, actually I don't, we have a table here for pipe work, but it's not, we haven't attempted to export the piezometer data into the pipe table, like the pipe group, where we export AGS format from my recollection. So you can enter the data into this pipe group. I guess that's a bit duplicitous, but I don't think they correspond very well, right? What we've done in the monitoring tool and this, well, not perfectly, so I'm not sure we have a better approach. IPID, like, is that in situ PID? No, we haven't done anything in the monitoring tool for that, but that table is in the Datgel DGD tool. I sort of thought of that as more a borehole logging type issue. All right, so yeah, so you're asking if there's any other instruments. Okay, so I've just been asked by Tempa, is there a provision for load cells, stress meters, strain gauge data? Well, I made a table to store some information, but we haven't further. This is not finished, I guess I put it that way. That's one of those things where we need a customer to work with us to help us understand exactly what you want. I don't think it's a very complicated issue, but we need to fully comprehend what people want to make. So partly is the sort of summary of that one. All right, so another question here, if I make it all a bit bigger. Any possibility to overlap graphs data with drawings and maps of the project? Well, it is possible with gINT to have multiple reports printing over the top of each other. So that way it means you could get a map on a report in the corner. In the case of some gINT reports, you can have a map, no problem, like the log report allows you to do that. That's sort of built in, but otherwise you have to do it in this, like this sandwich printing over the top. But it can be done, but it would need to be further. The reports would have to be designed, and it's not that complicated to do so. But I'm just, yeah. So I guess that's the answer. It's possible, but not there today in our existing reports. Right. Well, I guess that's another question. Jumping around between the interfaces here. What's the main advantage of your software compared to other commercial tools? I don't know. I haven't really looked at the other commercial tools as such. I think where our differentiation from almost everything is that it's in the same database that you have your other geotechnical data. So you have your boreholes, you have your lab testing, all in this one database. Yes, and not this database would need to be bigger, right? This is just the monitoring tables. But you can have everything in one, and you can present borehole data and other results on the same report if you need to. And you can export to AGS format from one system, right? All together, you get one AGS format file if you need to, for including all your other geotechnical data without double handling and copy pasting it back into this into gINT or some other product. In the sense of purely about monitoring, I think I'd have to analyze the other products to probably answer your question better. Another one here, will the readings from different instruments, total stations, matter for, will the readings from different instruments, e.g. total station of different type, matter for accurate evaluation of data? We are just, you enter or copy paste or import the numbers you want to import. And it's up to you how you interpret the data. Maybe I don't quite get the question. All right, I guess with that, we'll end our webinar. Time's up. So look, thanks everyone for attending. And if you have any further questions, you can drop me an email. I'll try to respond, or you can have a call. Have a great day.